G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel on this lovely day, mate. It is 24 degrees and sunny today. It is absolutely wonderful. The wind chill is a bit fresher than 24 degrees would seem to, you'd think it'd be, but it's quite nice. There's a baby there, and of course this ugly little Kia thing staring at me on the way there. That's no walkers. Gotta inspire the youth, baby, to get into motorbikes. See, gotta start them young. Oh man, I just wanted to have a little yarn and ride today. Nothing too crazy, but it's a topic that I hold near and dear. Now, some people would disagree on what I'm about to say, but the Rebel 500 is not exactly a fast motorcycle, and I want to talk about what it's like to ride on slow bikes. Now, I've ridden slower bikes than this. Don't worry, I know there are slower bikes than my bike, but in the grand scheme of motorcycles, the Honda Rebel is not a fast bike. Sure, it can accelerate to 100 in just around 5-ish seconds, which puts it significantly in front of cars in terms of its ability to go fast. It's like it can get up to the speed, alright, but it's not a fast bike. But we'll start with this one and I'll work our way down. I know it's a little backwards, normally you go the other way, but we'll work our way down. So in terms of riding a middle of the pack slow speed bike, so this was considered a quote-unquote middleweight bike, even though a bike that weighs, that makes 50 horsepower, I would hardly consider a middleweight bike. Middleweight sports bikes these days are the 80 to 120 horsepower range. Gee, some people even say the 150 horsepower range is middleweight. So, look, in that regard, it's a pretty slow bike. But, as you've seen from, at this point, thousands of videos that I've posted, this is not an issue, alright? Riding the Rebel around, it's an absolute non-issue in terms of how much power it makes, okay? She's not a slow bike, but she's nowhere near fast. An R1 is fast, the CBR 1000 is fast, the Gixxer 1000 is fast. Those are fast. This is your run-of-the-mill, family sedan fast. It does the job, doesn't do it ridiculous, doesn't go crazy, but it gets the job done, and it does it okay, you know what I mean? Nothing crazy about it. And honestly, it's more than enough to be adequate for road riding. All these cars parking so damn close together. I'm trying to filter all comfortably and safely, and they're blocking my damn way. I don't think I'm able to get in front of these ones though. That's fine. And look, I can't say I've really ever had an issue on this bike accelerating up to an acceptable speed limit where I've struggled to sort of overtake someone or get up to speed, get up to pace. So if you're going for a slower in the mid-sized engine range, dude, a Honda Rebel is completely fine. And like that 50 horsepower mark, 50, 60 horsepower, you are going to have absolutely no issues in your day-to-day riding if you're not just taking over people. Now, when I say freeways, I'm speaking like in a country with stricter speed laws. Like Australia, we have pretty strict speed laws. If you go 3 k's over the limits, you will get fined. So it's not a 60 mile an hour zone where everyone's going 75. No. It's a 100k area where everyone's bloody going 90 because of fear of getting fucking dicked by a highway patrol, even though that's just as annoying. But you know what I mean? So in the places where your speed limits are a little bit more strict, yeah, look, this size bike's on. Oh, hello, nice old 65 Mustang. Very nice. And hey man, there's just nothing else to say. All right, a bike of this power, fine. So let's go down to something a little bit less. So in fact, we'll say half the power. 25 horses, baby. Now this is where you're going to start noticing bikes start lacking a little bit of oomph in the acceleration. They're going to take a little bit longer to get up to speed. They're not going to jump and rip your arms out the socket. They'll still go over the speed limit, but you're going to have to rev the hell out of them a little bit more just to get that little bit of je ne sais quoi out of the engine, you know what I mean? Just to get that oomph that it so desperately needs. So just keep that in mind. Now, overtaking power of those 250cc engines, some of them will struggle more than others. Now, look, the 250cc CBRs make like 47, 45 horsepower. They're fine. I'm talking about like the Gixxer 250 that I rode. It only makes 24 horsepower. That thing, when you're trying to overtake people, that thing struggled. And in fact, in the video, I did try and overtake a guy who let me pass him. And boy, oh boy, did I have to rev the tits off that little engine to do it. Now, that doesn't make it less fun. It just makes it, a little bit more sketchy to ride in certain scenarios, which I get. It's not a bad thing, alright? It's completely fine to have a bike that sort of doesn't do everything great. So, if I could choose to not start on a 250, I would every time. But the 400, 500, they're completely adequate starting bikes, and you're not going to struggle, starting to ride any of those things or whatnot. Ooh, let's go down this road again. I like going down this one. We'll see if my mate's home with his new baby. Probably not, but I'm going to say hi. I can't. I have to be here for dinner tonight. Never mind. Too much things happening in my day. But that's fine. Oh, they finally took down the advertising up there. What is the world coming to? But dude, having a small engine bike, in some instances you're going to notice, alright? And noticing like different power loss and all that, it's just sort of the joys of riding those smaller bikes. Now, especially if you ride yourself something larger and in charger and then ride on your small bike again, that's when you'll really sort of notice the discrepancies that the power is going to be leaving, that you're going to be missing. And that's fine to say and admit that not all bikes can do everything, alright? It's fine to say that it's a slow bike and it can't do everything perfectly, and just don't be sad about it. That's just what the bike is. It's like saying, well, I've only bought a 4-liter cylinder hatchback and it can't accelerate like a bloody supercharged V8. It's just, alright, bikes are not all built equal, and despite some people playing up their bikes to the fast thing, a lot of new riders go like, oh damn, my bike is so fast, and they're riding an R3 and you go, young grasshopper. Compared to a car, sure, but you have not seen anything yet. So living with the small engine bikes, I would say, is a benefit over a lot of things. So for a lot of commuting aspects, your lane filtering ability is a lot better because you can fit through a lot more gaps a lot more easily. Now, obviously, it's not legal everywhere you ride, and a lot of Americans, unfortunately, can't do it. Like I said, they can have every other freedom in the world, but you can't lane filter. That's dangerous. So that's one thing they sort of confuse me on. But so you can lane filter really well on small bikes. Your petrol costs are going to be cheap. Your insurance costs are going to be cheaper. Moving it around, navigation, because those little bikes weigh nothing, so you can flick them really well. Now, sometimes they weigh a bit more than they should, but, you know, generally they're pretty light, so, like, the Honda Rebel's only 192 kilos, man. Most cruisers are 250 and up, so I'm not complaining about nothing. Like, the Iron 883 is a bike that is often, some people compare it to this thing, and even though the 883's got a bigger engine, yes, it sounds fantastic, it looks fantastic, but the i883 is like 240 kilos or something ridiculous. It also only makes 50 horsepower. This makes like 47 horsepower. This bike is faster than an 883 in most, like, every scenario almost. But in Australia, we can't ride an 883 as our first bike because it doesn't pass the Lambs approved thing, because it's 883cc instead of 660. Make it make sense, brother. So just remember, not always is it that big engine means a fast bike. Iron 1200s and 883s are not fast bikes by any stretch of the imagination, but they're slow too. But, you know, you can live with these things. Like, look, I've had the Honda Rebel for over 4 years now. I love this bike, alright? I think it is fantastic. It has done everything that I wanted to do and then some. Sure, she leaves a little bit to be desired in the power department. That's really the only thing you're going to be suffering with one of these smaller CC bikes, okay? You're not going to struggle in riding. In most cases of riding, you're not going to need that, oh, I couldn't overtake, there wasn't enough power, that everyone and their mother seems to say in the comments to me, like it is the most important aspect of a motorcycle. Like you can't just slow down and get out of danger, or just drop a gear and accelerate on one of these bikes anyway. Like, look, the Honda Rebel accelerates up to speed just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it does it beautifully. It's beautiful. Next question, fake news. It's just people who haven't ridden one of these bikes for so long that they're so scared of these little horsepower figures that they think that they're essentially unrideable. Like, sure, if you're on a bike where it can barely do 60 miles an hour, 100 k's an hour, and you drop a gear and it accelerates to 110 in like 5 seconds, or maybe then you might have a bike that's better for city riding and not much else, because they might struggle a bit on the freeway trying to do something. But this thing, you can hit up to 130, 140 pretty comfortably, and that's kilometers an hour, before it struggles to start accelerating. So don't give me that shit you can't accelerate out of danger. In a country that follows the speed laws, maybe in America where everyone's doing like 90 miles an hour on a freeway in Texas or something, yeah, maybe then. But that's different, right? That's a scenario that we don't have to deal with. But hey, man, you do you. And also in America, you can also just straight up buy a Rebel 1100 as your first bike. I mean, they have the same top speed. In fact, the Rebel 500's got technically, out of the box, got a higher top speed than the Rebel 1100, which always makes me laugh, but that's just because of the limiter. But still, hey man, you do you. Living with a small bike is, dude, there's nothing to worry about. Don't be scared if only thing you can afford is like a 300cc bike. Like an R3 hits like 180. I think I've seen people hit 200 on those things. They're not fast, but my God, they do more than they deserve to. Those bikes have a little bit more oomph than they have any right to have, and they look nice, all right? Obviously, their aerodynamics aren't going to be as good as the bigger bikes, but that's what the next bike's for. Whereas, like, a small little cruiser, you don't really care about its horsepower. Like, a cruiser is, in the sense, it's almost like it's in the name. It's built for cruising, believe it or not. So you're not going fast as anything. The goal isn't to hit top speed runs and carve up canyons at the speed of light. The goal of a cruiser is to just enjoy the ride, take in the scene, smell the smells, and just have a grand old time, you know what I mean? So I don't know why people get so much up in arms about cruisers needing the most power. They don't. They really, really, really don't. And anyone who says otherwise, it's all in the head, man. I don't understand their bloody stupidity. But hey, I ain't gonna tell them to their faces that they're wrong, but I will tell them over the internet, because I don't talk to people that much in person. But when I see them, I'll tell them they're wrong. Don't worry, I'm not gonna scare away from it, mate. But also, more power is fun, let's be honest. Yeah, but like, to say that these little bikes are useless in most senses of the word, I'm just convinced people don't ride them, because I've had this bike for 4.5-ish years, and I can't say it's ever let me down except for when it low side, and that's, well, the tyres aren't made for it and a bit of user error. So, look, in every other sense of the word, this bike has done exactly what I have asked it to do. It has not let me down in the slightest in that regard. And to say you can't live with a small bike is just a load of garbage, man. If you want to buy a small bike like this and have fun, you will, and you will enjoy it every single time. And those who disagree are just sad because they can't be happy with anything, less than too much. But ladies and gents, that's pretty much my video for the day. I hope you enjoyed everything. Do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Help us get the channel to 10,000 subscribers. We are getting there slowly, but surely. I reckon we'll hit 10k pretty soon. By the looks of it, we've only got like 700 and something subscribers to go, which is insane to think about. But you know what? I'm excited. No rush to these things. The channel is something I just do because I enjoy motorcycles, bringing people to motorcycling culture and educating people on motorcycling, and also being educated, because obviously I don't know everything, and the more that I do stuff, the more I learn, the more that people who watch my content teach me stuff. So thank you so much for watching, ladies and gents. Take it easy, keep it cheesy, have a wonderful, wonderful time, and have a good one. Peace. Bye!